Alright, welcome to the channel. This is Clarityempress, the Empress of Clarity, here to bring you goodness gracious. Why? Excuse me, y'all. To my Clarityempress collective, I hope everybody is doing well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment in the comment section or the chat and let me know how the reading resonates with you. Man. All right, let me get the gang all in the building. And then, all right. Anyway. All right, collective. I had something planned for y'all, and I realized I cannot get it up. All right, so that's not gonna work. How oh how shall I? Mm-hmm. Screw. Hang on it. Bear with me, y'all. I got something planned for y'all. All right, let me see. Okay, maybe I can find it another way. Ah, there we go. Got it. Got it. All right, y'all. So I got something special planned for some information to offer you. Okay. And what's up, Black Cherry? I'm trying to get this information up. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime I come on. So I have these videos. Every now and then I want to share a video. It gives me downloads, information, Scooby Doo clues, as Black Cherry would say, to help me unpack, understand things that I want to explain to you that come up in the cards, but sometimes I don't have what I feel is the right terms. I give it to you the best I can, however Spirit gives me. But when I come across something that I think would be helpful to understand, beneficial to understand, and I want to unpack it. All right. So gonna pull this up. What I found though is with some of the videos I want to share. Let me skip that. Um, the, it's not AI, but it's a distorted voice. So there's sometimes when I have other people's content and I'll let you hear their content, tell you where to find it and all that stuff. And then there's times when I feel like it's more bot like. I don't want to give you bots because to be honest, if I wasn't interested in the topic, whatever they're saying is I would go to sleep and I don't want to bore anybody, right? But this topic, when I listened to it today while I was doing running my errands, and I said, well, you know what? This was pretty deep. Let me see. Now I want to use the transcript because I'm like I can't listen like that. Where's the transcript? I found it on my phone. I hope I can find it on the iPad. Nope, that ain't it. How in the world? Be the first answers. I don't want to summarize the video. Oh. No, I don't want to download it either. Oh, gosh. Why does this work on my phone? Not the iPad. If I had save. Nope. I don't want to save it. Oh, here we go. Nope, that ain't it. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Show the transcript. Okay. I ain't been on in a while, so I see our audience is gonna be real light, and that's fine with me. They can watch the video later if they want, right? So the topic was similar. You know, this is when an avoidant person punishes you for loving them, but obsesses over you for walking away. And this will explain why. I hope in layman's terms enough for folks to get why your person shows up in your energy, in your readings. It's almost like they chase you in your energy, right? I'm about to break it down with this script. I'm gonna try to summarize as much as I can, because I don't want to repeat the entire content, but I feel like y'all need to know. Let me get some intrusive thought cards for visuals so you can see what it is that we tell you when we pull these oracle cards and these tarot cards, right? There's a lot of meaning, behind them that help us understand what it is, what's going on. All right, so I'm just gonna put these out. Let me see. We just gonna start off with intrusive thoughts, and then we gonna I'm going. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Bumping heads. Bumping heads. Oh, hold on. This would work. Toxic. We're gonna leave that there. We're gonna leave that there. Double-minded. Yep. That and that. Cold-blooded. Sexy, sexy, sexy. All right. So this is where we gonna go. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's probably a whole bunch of other cards. All right. So chat with me. That way I know if it resonates with you. All right. So he starts off saying the pattern is maddening in its consistency and cruelty. When you express love, when you show up consistently, when you pursue connection, when you make your care and investment visible, the avoidant person responds by withdrawing, creating distance, and becoming cold and critical. Punishing you for the very love that you're offering. But when you pull back, when you stop pursuing, when you redirect, what's up, Carmen? Your attention elsewhere, then when you demonstrate indifference or unavailability, suddenly the avoidant person comes alive. They pursue you, express interest, show affection, reward your distance with exactly the closeness you were seeking when you showed love. This inverted dynamic feels deliberately cruel, like emotional manipulation designed to keep you confused and off balance. But see, we get ready to unpack why. And Carmen, I put this up to demonstrate why avoidant people punish you for loving you, for you loving them, but then pursue you when you let go. Okay? And why they're showing up in your energy. Okay? Your energy. Okay. So Then this inverted dynamic feels deliberately cruel, like an emotional manipulation designed to keep you confused and off balance. But understanding why avoidance punish love and reward indifference reveals this pattern. It's not conscious manipulation, but rather automatic nervous system response rooted in their attachment wounds and the beliefs built around those wounds. The avoidant person's system has learned through painful early experiences that love is dangerous, that expressing care makes you vulnerable to rejection, that depending on someone to give you, that depending on someone gives them power to hurt you. These lessons create a defensive structure where love registers as threat, requiring defensive response, while indifference registers as safety, allowing approach. So this person was grown up in severe neglect or abuse, right? And their approach to love is completely opposite of what love really is. So they don't know love like you know love. So love actually scares them. And when you pull away, this is me surmising because I get what he was saying, and I've been learning a lot, so I can unpack it for y'all. But when you walk away from them, they want to reconnect and reestablish control because now they got something to prove. Okay, all right. So it said, while indifference, okay. The avoided person punishes you for loving them. Not because they don't want love, but because your love activates every fear and wound they've organized their life around avoiding. They reward your indifference not because they prefer being ignored, but because your indifference removes the threat that your love creates, allowing them to feel safe enough to pursue connection on their terms and understanding. Shut up, Ralph. All right, but let's listen. We gonna get down to the bottom of it. Y'all just gotta just hang out there with me. All right, because I really like how they sum this up and what they said. So I think you will appreciate what they said. Because at one point I was like, where are you going with this? Then I was like, oh, okay. So, so let me see. Allowing them to feel safe enough to pursue a connection on their terms and understanding. This dynamic doesn't make it less painful or acceptable, but it does reveal why the pattern exists. Why trying to love an avoidant person harder will never work. The more love you offer, the more threatened they feel. The more you pursue, the more they withdraw. The cycle is self-reinforcing and nearly impossible to break from within the relationship because the very thing you need to do, love them openly and consistently, is the very thing their system interprets as danger. Love registers as a threat in their nervous system. The fundamental reason avoidance punish you for loving them is that your love triggers their nervous system's threat response. All right, okay. So your love triggers their nervous system threat response as powerfully as if you are actually attacking them. This is not a metaphorical or exaggerated. When you express love, care, need for them, desire for closeness, the avoided person's body responds with psychological stress response, increased heart rate, shallow breathing, tension, activation of fight or flight. Their nervous system genuinely perceives your love as danger, and they respond to that danger through defensive behaviors that create the distance they need to feel safe again. Understanding this psychology really is essential because it reveals that the avoiding person's punishment of your love is not a conscious choice or deliberate cruelty. No. Listen, I know it's toxic, But wait, y'all gotta hang out with me till I get to the point. You're gonna like the point when I get there. Trust me, you know I'm not gonna steer you wrong. I don't do that. Not here. Okay. So just trust me, y'all. It gets better. It don't get better, but it get better. All right. Okay. Choice of cruelty, but rather an automatic defensive response they often cannot control or even fully recognize. The voided person's nervous system learns to interpret love as threat through early experiences where expressing need or depending on caregivers led to rejection, dismissal, or harm. Perhaps they cried as infants and were left to cry, learning that expressing need doesn't bring comfort. Perhaps they showed excitement or affection and were met with irritation or dismissal. Perhaps they depended on caregivers who were inconsistent or who made their love conditional on the child's good behavior. Perhaps they witnessed love being weaponized in their family, used to manipulate or control. Whatever the specific experiences, the common thread is that love, vulnerability, and dependence became associated with pain, rejection, or danger rather than with safety and comfort. These early associations create neural pathways that remain active into adulthood. When you express love to the avoidant person, you are activating those pathways, triggering memories and sensations connected to past experiences where love led to pain. Hi, Lady Jade. I'm laughing at you, Carmen. She said it is beyond toxic. They're nervous. Okay, the avoidant person is not consciously thinking about those past experiences, but their body remembers. Their nervous system responds to your love as if it carries the same danger that early experiences of love or need carry. This is why the avoidant person responds to your love seems so disproportionate and irrational. You're offering care and connection, which should feel good, but their system is responding as if you're offering threat and harm. The specific way your love triggers the avoided person's threat response reveals what they learn. Okay. Oh shit. Um. Okay, so it reveals what they learn to fear about intimacy. When you express that you miss them or want to see them, they feel pressured and trapped because they learned that others' needs for them were burdens or obligation. When you express vulnerability or need for support, they feel overwhelmed because they learn that being needed means being consumed or controlled. When you express desire for commitment or future together, they feel suffocated because they learn that what commitment means, loss of autonomy. Each expression of love activates different aspects of their core wound around intimacy and dependence. The avoidant person's punishment of your love takes predictable forms that are all designed to create the distance their nervous system is demanding. They become colder, distant, withdrawing. Emotional presence, even if they remain physically present. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, they become cold and distant, withdrawing. The way they wrote this is crazy. Withdrawing emotional presence, even if they remain physical presence. So you know how that is when you with somebody, but you don't feel like you with them. You know they somewhere else in their head. This is what they're talking about. All right, so they criticize you or focus on your flaws, creating intellectual distance by devaluing what they're actually afraid of valuing too much. I mean, they scared to death to love you as you are, so they got to pick something about you. They got to nitpick. They pick fights or manufacture conflicts using anger and discord to create emotional distance. They physically withdraw, cancel plans, reduce contact, and create literal space between you. They might even end the relationship entirely if their threat response is strong enough and they see no other way to escape the danger your love represents. Ooh, child, this is somebody raised on something else, but it ain't love. These punishing responses are not calculated to hurt you, though they absolutely do hurt you. their desperate attempt to regulate overwhelming anxiety that your love triggered. So this person is constantly trying to regulate their emotions the more deeper that they feel for you because of the fact that they was raised in toxicity. All right, I'm surmising that part. Ooh. Oh wow, this gave me the whole page. Hold on. The avoidant person is essentially drowning in discomfort, and they're thrashing toward any behavior that might relieve that discomfort. The behaviors that relieve their discomfort, creating distance from your love, are the same behaviors that punish you for offering that love. This is a this is tragic. Wait a minute. This is the tragic core of the dynamic. They need to feel safe. Is exactly what hurts you the most. Oh, sorry, what they need to feel safe. Lord, I can't. I wish, you know what, I guess they paused based on the way it's said. Because it's annoying to read broken sentences like that. So don't think I'm illiterate, yo. I just can't follow this. Girl, Jade, yes. Yes, I understand. All right, where was I? Because this is, oh my gosh. I got to follow the numbers of the time in order to catch my speed up. This, okay. Okay. What you need to feel secure is exactly what threatens them most. The avoidant person's internal experience during this process is usually not awareness that they're punishing you for loving them. Instead, they experience it as a reasonable response to feeling pressured or overwhelmed. They tell themselves that you're being too needy, too demanding, too intense. They focus on your imperfections or the way you're incompatible. They convince themselves they need space or healthy reasons rather than recognizing they're fleeing from intimacy. Child. This self-narrative protects them from seeing their own patterns and from feeling guilt about how their defensive responses hurt you. It allows them to frame their punishment of your love as your problem rather than their limitation. The intensity of the avoidant person's threat response to your love often correlates with how much they actually care about you. This seems counterintuitive, but makes sense when you understand the mechanism. If they don't care much about you, or your love doesn't threaten them because they're not women. If they don't care much about you, your love doesn't threaten them much because they're not vulnerable. They can receive your love with relative comfort because it doesn't really matter to them. But when they care deeply about you, when you've become genuinely important to them, your love becomes exponentially more threatening because now they have something to lose. The more they care, the more vulnerable they are, and the more their system interprets your love as danger because that love has the power to hurt them if it's withdrawn or if they allow themselves to depend on it and it proves unreliable. So this person is scared to death to give you their all, their 100% when it comes to love because God forbid you say, I don't want you no more. Or I don't love you, I don't want you, I can't take you, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, if you withdraw that love, they like, oh, hell no. Okay? It gets deeper. And the more this system interprets your love as danger, because that love has the power to hurt them. Okay, wait a minute. This means the avoidant person punishes your love most severely precisely when the relationship matters most to them. The person who seems most scared of your love is often the person who wants it most, but cannot tolerate the vulnerability that receiving it would require. Excuse me. This tragic irony is at the heart, of why relationships with avoidant people are so painful. The punishment you receive for loving them is actually evidence that your love matters profoundly to them. But the evidence comes in form of a rejection and withdrawal and feels like proof that you don't matter at all. Excuse me. My throat. I gotta go get something to drink. But, okay. Your indifference activates their attachment wounds, While love triggers the avoidance person's threat response and defensive withdrawal, indifferent creates an entire different reaction by activating the attachment wounds underneath their defenses. When you stop pursuing, when you redirect your attention elsewhere, when you demonstrate you don't need them or aren't particularly invested in them, you activate the avoidance core fear that they are unimportant, forgettable, not worthy of love or pursuit. This fear is deeply buried beneath their defense of independence and self sufficiency. She said he's safe now. He can sleep comfortably every night because I don't want him anywhere near me. I know that's right. Let me go back to what line was I at? This fear deeply buried beneath their defense of independence and self-sufficiency. But it's the original wound that their avoidant pattern developed to protect. Your indifference threatens to confirm that wound. The avoidant person responds by pursuing you to prove to themselves that they do matter, that they are wanted, that the wound isn't true. The avoidant person's core wound beneath all their defenses is the belief that they are not lovable or worthy of consistent care. They've learned early that their needs were burdened, that their presence was tolerable only when they were self-sufficient and undemanding, that love was conditional on them not needing too much. These experiences create a deep sense that they are fundamentally not enough or too much. Their their authentic self with all its needs and vulnerabilities is unacceptable. The avoidant person develops their defensive structure to protect themselves from ever having to feel the inadequacy and rejection again by not needing anyone. So this is where that hyper independence comes from. If they don't need anybody and they're not attached to anybody, then no one can penetrate them, right? By maintaining independence, by keeping people at a distance, they protect themselves from the pain of being found insufficient and abandoned. But when you become indifferent, when you stop pursuing them, when you demonstrate through your behavior that they don't matter much to you, you threaten to confirm that the very fear their defense was protecting them against. Your indifference suggests that maybe they were right to fear being unimportant, that they aren't worth pursuing, that people really don't want them when they're not performing or providing something. Now see, yes, it is. It definitely is. Avoidance don't necessarily have to be a narcissist, but they can have very narcissistic tendencies. So this definitely, Jay, could lay the groundwork for that. Your difference suggests that maybe they were right. They aren't. People really don't want them. They're not performing. The activation of their core wound creates anxiety that is different from the anxiety your love created, but equally uncomfortable. The anxiety your love created was about vulnerability and potential loss. The anxiety your indifference creates is about worthiness and irrelevance. The avoidant person responds to this anxiety by pursuing you, trying to restore their sense that they matter and are wanted. This pursuit looks like the engagement that interest you've been seeking all along, but is not driven by genuine desire for intimacy. It's driven by the need to regulate the anxiety your indifference created to prove to themselves that they're still important to you, to restore the dynamic where they have the power and control rather being the one who is ignored and dismissed. The pursuit is about managing their own wounded feelings rather than about genuine desire to connect with you. So, this is when somebody comes back to you and it's just like this false sense of realizing you're the one telling you and doing all the things you wanted to do, but then they're not able to be consistent with that. They're not able to keep it going. Yeah, it's all about control. controlling you so that they feel in control, right? All right. The specific behaviors the avoidant person displays when you become indifferent reveals their desperation to restore your attention and prove they matter. They initiate contact after periods of silence. They show interest in your life and ask questions they've never asked when you were pursuing them. They make plans and follow through more consistently. They express vulnerability or share things about themselves they previously kept hidden. They might even express feelings or make commitments they were unwilling to make when you were available. All of these behaviors are attempts to draw you back in, to restore your investment in them, to confirm that they have value and importance to you. This pursuit is what you've been wanting all along, but it comes with critical limitation. It's only sustainable as long as you maintain some level of indifference or unavailability. Imagine that, right? The moment you respond to their pursuit by becoming fully available and loving again, by showing that you can care deeply and want connection, you reactivate their threat response and they withdraw again. The reward they gave you for your indifference disappears as soon as you stop being indifferent. This creates an impossible dynamic where the only way to keep the avoidant person engaged is to maintain distance and an unavailability that prevents genuine intimacy. See how they want you to do their dance. They come back in to restore control with the hopes that you're going to come back. And yeah, and right, they eventually don't even bother to mask anymore, right? So, girl, you jumping ahead of the class, Lady Jade. I think you've taken this course already. No, I'm just I'm just joking. But yeah, no, dead ass, you're right. All right, so let me see, where was I? Okay. The avoiding person's pursuit of you when you're when your indifference is also driven by competitive or possessive instincts that their attachment wounds activate. So when they get obsessed with you, they won't leave you alone. This is what they talking about. When you're pursuing them, they have you and know that they could have you anytime they want it, so you're taken for granted. I read that crazy because they put that on separate lines. Anyway, but when you become unavailable, especially if the unavailability involves attention to other people or other areas of your life, the avoided person suddenly perceives threat or loss. The possibility that you might not be available to them, that someone else might claim your attention, that they may lose option that they have been taken for granted, activates anxiety that drives pursuit. This competitive pursuit is particularly intense if the avoided person perceives that you are dating or interested in someone else. Your attention to another person triggers their fears of being replaced or found insufficient compared to someone else. They suddenly want to prove that they're a better option than sorry. There's oh gosh, I can't stand this break. They suddenly want to prove they're the better option, that they can win you, that they're more desirable than whomever has your attention. This competitive driven pursuit can create a very intense connection where the avoidant person seems fully engaged and invested. But again, this intensity typically diminishes once they've secured your attention and eliminated the perceived competition. The pursuit was about winning and proving their value rather than about genuine desire for sustained intimacy with you. Raise your hand if you've been through this bullshit. I'm just saying. She said she got her degree in that mess. Girl. And if they can't get you back anymore, they do everything they can to muddle your name. Yes, you're probably skipping ahead. I don't know if he said that part here. But yes, you're skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead, Jade. Gosh. No. I joke, but this is dead ass serious, y'all. I'm saying, I had to share this with y'all tonight. I'm not done though. I got a little bit more. I mean, a lot more. Um Okay, let me get to my. Okay. The reward the avoidant person gives you for your indifference can feel validating and exciting. Finally, they're showing up. Finally, they're pursuing. Finally, they're demonstrating interest and investment. This feels like breakthrough, like proof that if you just maintain the right level of unavailability, the relationship can work. But this interpretation misunderstands what's happening. The avoidant person is not pursuing you because they develop capacity for intimacy. They're pursuing you because your indifference triggered a different set of anxieties and defenses that manifest as pursuit rather than withdrawal. Neither their withdrawal when you love them or their pursuit when you ignore them represents authentic, sustainable relating. Both are defensive responses to different threats. The power dynamic they need to feel safe. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they need to feel safe. The pattern where avoidance punish love and reward indifference reveals specific power. A specific power dynamic they need to feel safe in relationships. Oh shit, you scared me. I was like, what is that noise? What you about to do?
We got the cats, is this too?
What you about to do? I'm thirsty.
Snack or something to wake me up.
Oh, you got a lot of homework?
I'm tired. I got burnout at this point. I need to finish this homework. Yeah.
There's a couple dates. Chew one. Bring me my ice and some iced tea and one of them cups in the ice with the ice.
I hate dates, but I'll get the cup of iced tea.
Take your vitamins while you're down in there. Mm-hmm. But bring it quickly because I'm thirsty. Please. Sorry for the pause. Okay. All right. Okay. We get into it, y'all. All right. So let me just repeat a little bit. Both are defensive responses to different threats. The power dynamic they need to feel safe. The pattern where the avoidant punishes love and rewards indifference reveals specific power dynamic they need to feel safe in relationships. The avoidant person can only tolerate intimacy when they maintain a position of power and control, when they're the less invested party, when they have the ability to regulate distance according to their needs without considering your needs. This power imbalance is not conscious desire or to dominate or control, but rather fundamental requirement for their nervous system to tolerate connection at all. When the power dynamic shifts toward balance or toward having more power, the avoided person's anxiety becomes intolerable and they withdraw. Y'all, ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime I come on. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. We still in the midst of the spiritual lounge. We are dropping signs on why they punished you and what you need to do. Now, we ain't get to the crux of it, but we getting there. We in the middle of the lesson. We got Professor Jade in the building. We got Professor Black Cherry in the building. We got Professor Carmen in the building. I don't know who else is here, but I just want to recognize those that know. And if you know, you know. If you see this after the live, make sure you ring that bell. That way you will notify next time we host class. You hear me? Because class is in session. All right, let me get back to the lecture. Okay?
Where's the iced tea?
The ice is in the freezer.
Oh, I know that.
Where ice
like
go?
The iced tea, do you just want to like make it a cup?
Make it in a clear cup and dump it in the ice. You know what I'm talking about. Or you could just bring me the cup and bring me my ice.
Okay.
I'll pour it in.
I got it.
All right. Y'all ready? Okay. All right. So, where was I? Let me get this. All right. All right, let me scroll my screen up so I can get to where I was. So when the power dynamic shifts toward balance or toward you having more power, the avoidant person's anxiety becomes intolerable and they withdraw. When you love the avoidant person openly, when you pursue them, when you express your need for them, you're giving them the power in the relationship. They know you want them. They know you're invested. They know you care more than they are showing they care. This power should feel good and make them feel secure. But for the avoidant person, it has the opposite effect. Your obvious investment and their position of power means they have something to lose now. They're in position where you could withdraw your love and hurt them. They're vulnerable to rejection or abandonment. Even though they're the one who appears to have the power, this vulnerability is intolerable. So they withdraw to reduce it, punishing your love in order to decrease their own vulnerability. The punishment of your love serves to restore power balance in the direction the avoidant person needs. By withdrawing, they become cold or critical by reducing their investment in response to your increased investment. They're creating distance that protects them from the vulnerability your love created. They're communicating, often unconsciously, that your love doesn't affect them that much, that they don't need you, that they're fine they're fine either way. This communication is an attempt to reduce their own ability, by appearing less invested than you are. The more you love them, the more they need to demonstrate they don't need your love to protect them from the pain that they would feel if your love was withdrawn. All right. When you become indifferent, you stop pursuing. When you demonstrate you don't need them, you shift the power dynamic dramatically. Now they're in a less powerful position. They're the one who might be losing something while you appear fine. Either way, this shift activates their attachment wound and their competitive instincts, driving them to pursue you to restore power balance in their favor. But their pursuit is about regaining position of power, not about accepting position of mutual vulnerability that genuine partnership requires. They pursue until they restore a sense that you care more than they do. Then they withdraw again. The avoided person needs to be pursued, not pursuer. They need to be wanted more than they demonstrate wanting. They need to maintain position where they could leave at any time and would be fine, where you would be the one hurt by the loss. This position feels safe to them because it minimizes their vulnerability. If they don't need you more than you need them, then losing you can't hurt them badly. If they're always the one with less to lose, they could protect themselves from the devastating loss that they fear above almost anything else. The entire dynamic of punishing love and rewarding indifference serves this need to maintain protective power and balance. This need for power imbalance is why relationships with avoidant people often feel like games, or like you're constantly trying to figure out the right amount of interest to show. Too much interest and they withdraw, too little and they pursue. You're trying to find the exact balance that keeps them engaged, which usually means, demonstrating just enough interest to keep them somewhat insecure about your investment, but not so much interest that you trigger their fear of a vulnerability. This is exhausting. When he said that, I was like, thank you, because I'm like, where the fuck are you going with this shit here? You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to be going through all this push and pull and bumping heads and feeling sorrow? Next minute they stalking. Like, who really wants that? You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. It's nothing healthy about that. It's actually quite cruel to be in a situation like this. And I was just like floored. I'm like, where is he going with this? But I digress. There's more. Okay, here we go. Let me see. All right. This is exhausting and ultimately impossible to maintain because genuine relationships require mutual vulnerability and relatively balanced investment. I talk to y'all about reciprocity all the time. No relationship works without reciprocity. or else one person is the slave and the other person is the master, and that's it. Like, there's no other way to see it. The power imbalances the avoidant person's the power imbalance the avoidant person needs is incompatible with healthy partnership. The avoidance person's need to maintain power also shows in how they handle relationship milestones and progression. Any movement toward greater commitment, any discussion of future, any steps that would increase interdependence and the balance of power dynamic triggers their withdrawal. They resist meeting each other's families, moving in together, getting engaged, any change that would make the relationship more real and would increase their vulnerability by making them more invested and more intertwined. These milestones all shift power toward balanced dynamic, which is exactly what the avoiding person cannot tolerate. The power dynamic the avoiding person needs also explains why they often idealize exes or people from the past while devaluing current partners. Raise your hand if you've been through that, because I'm just saying. The exes in the past connections have power because they are unavailable, absent, existing only in memory where they can be idealized without the threat of actual intimacy. The avoidant person can feel deeply for these unavailable people because those feelings don't require any actual vulnerability or risk. But the current partner, who's present and available and wanting real connection, threatens them with actual intimacy and actual vulnerability. So the partner gets devalued and punished. This shit crazy. This just crazy. All right. The contrast reveals that the avoidant person's feelings are more about their own need for control and safety than about the actual qualities of people involved. Understanding this power dynamic reveals why traditional relationship advice does not work with avoidant people. You're told to be vulnerable, to express your feelings, to pursue what you want, to invest in a relationship. All of this advice, which works with secure or anxious partners, backfire with avoidant partners because it shifts the power in the direction that triggers their defenses. With avoidant people, the counterintuitive approach of maintaining some emotional distance, some independence, some withholding a full investment, is what allows any connection to exist at all. But maintaining this distance prevents the genuine intimacy and mutual vulnerability that makes relationships meaningful. So, like, I'm gonna pause. Let me move this screen up so I could get back to my place. This is why if you are in a connection or you get into a connection with an avoidant person, don't bother trying to make this shit work. Like, just don't. You know what I mean? Like, that's why when I hear readers say, "Oh, you just gotta, give them the silent treatment." I've heard that. Just don't say nothing to them. They'll come back. They'll come back. Fuck all of that. This person will come back. Yes, they will be drawn to you. Yes, but why? Why? This is why they drawn to you, because they want to restore power. And then when they come back and find that you're still open, they turn around and treat you like shit all over again. That's why, when I do hear, when I watch stuff like this and I listen to it, I'm not sure if he said it in this particular video, but others, they'll say a person that comes back to you radically different. They done went to therapy. They done worked on themselves. This is not no gimmick or no gag to get you back type shit. You will know if they're not trying to get you back, but they want you back, okay? They realize they did you wrong. You were the one. And you can tell. This person, what I'm reading so far, this is a person that their mask will fall off. And then they will go back to the same dynamic. So y'all will have cycles with a person like that. They'll just keep doing the same shit they've been doing to you. You know what I mean? Yep. Okay. So, which is why relationships with avoidant people often feel hollow even when they're technically continuing. Breaking the cycle without becoming avoidant yourself. Understanding why avoidance punish love and reward indifference creates terrible dilemma. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Understanding why avoidance punish love and reward indifference creates terrible dilemma. I don't know why they wrote that like that. If you want to keep the avoidant person engaged, you need to withhold your love and maintain distance. But doing this requires you to suppress your authentic feelings and become someone you're not. It requires you to play games to strategically manage your level of investment to protect yourself through the same kind of emotional withdrawal you've been hurt by. See how that makes no sense? In essence, staying with an avoidant person and adapting to their needs requires you to develop an avoidant behavior yourself, sacrificing your own attachment security to accommodate their dysfunction. I think the fuck not. This transformation is subtle but devastating. You start out as secure or an anxious person capable of expressing love openly and wanting intimate connection. But months or years with an avoidant person teach you that expressing love leads to punishment, while withholding leads to reward. You learn to suppress your. I just had a flash. Hold on. So this is given 4 cups energy, 4 of coins. Like you withhold, you start holding back. You know what I'm saying? And then you get apathetic in your connection because you really aren't fulfilled by messing with somebody like this. You totally do lose yourself. Yep. And then you just don't know, like, you end up treating other people like this if you allow this dynamic to go on too long, because it will change you. Excuse me. Bless you, whoever that was. You learn to suppress your feelings, to act more indifferent than you feel, to maintain distance when you want closeness. You learn to play it cool, to not show how much you care, to protect yourself through the same defensive distance that's been hurting you. You become avoidant in your behavior, even if that's not your natural attachment style. And this transformation damages your capacity for healthy intimacy beyond this relationship. The cost of adapting to the avoidant person's needs is loss of your authentic self in the relationship. You cannot be genuine about your feelings. You cannot express your needs directly. You cannot pursue connection when you want it. You cannot build the kind of intimate partnership you actually want. Instead, you're managing a carefully calibrated dance where you just show enough interest to keep them somewhat engaged, but not so much that you trigger their withdrawal. This performance is exhausting and ultimately hollow, because what you're maintaining isn't genuine relationship, but rather fragile arrangement based on your suppression of authentic needs and feelings. I was like, you know what? You know what? Okay. The other option, the one that protects your attachment security and authenticity, is to refuse to play the game. See, this is where I was like, okay, my hands up. You got me. Okay, where we going? This means expressing your love and needs honestly, even knowing that doing so will likely trigger the avoidance personal withdrawal. It means refusing to withhold or strategically manage your investment. It means being genuine about wanting intimacy and commitment, even though the avoidant person experiences these as threats. Let me tell you something. Let me scroll up so I don't lose it. This is where you put your boundaries. Now, I don't think he even said that, but this is where the hell your boundaries go. This is where you say, listen, either you give me this, okay, or we not nothing. Nothing. You can't step up to the plate. You can't go get some help. You can't stop acting inconsistent. You can't blah, 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 blah. If you cannot meet me where I'm at, if you cannot love me authentically, openly, respectfully, if you can stop withdrawing and at least try, and stop trying to make somebody chase you or whatever it is, right? You got to be able to state your shit straight up. And You know, I'm always put that on my first house, my ascendant Sagittarius rising. We will tell you just how the fuck it is. And you could decide what you're going to do with it. But then our level of detachment will let you know. You could go and do and be whatever you want. You just won't be with me. Now, that would require this avoidant type energy, this person, to make a decision. Do they really want a connection or not? Right? Right. Like you said, pull up to your level. And so if they can't do that, then you listen, when you start to learn about this, your level of detachment is not the same as walking away to get them to come closer to you. It's because you learn your lesson. You learn that they don't have the capacity. They may lie to say they have just to keep control. You learn because they can't keep that mask on for long. All right, where was I? Okay. This authentic approach is likely to result in the avoidant person leaving or creating such significant distance that the relationship effectively ends, but it preserves your integrity and your capacity for healthy intimacy with someone who can actually receive it. Refusing to play the game requires accepting that you cannot change the avoidant person's pattern through your behavior. You cannot love them enough to make them feel safe. You cannot withhold enough to keep them engaged long term. You cannot find the perfect balance that allows genuine intimacy to develop. The problem is not your approach, but their inability to tolerate intimacy regardless of how it's offered. Accepting this reality means grieving the relationship you hope to have and recognizing that the avoidant person is not capable of providing the partnership you need. Breaking the cycle also requires examining what drew you to the avoided person and why you've been willing to tolerate being punished for your love. See, now, this is why I appreciate what they wrote, right? Because he brought it back to you. Like, you were attracted to them for some reason, right? Maybe they came on strong. It felt nice. They seemed to appreciate you. Maybe they love bombed you. You know, who knows, right? But why did you continue to accept it? Like, why did you develop a soft spot for disrespect? You know what I'm saying? I've been through it with people, not too many people, but enough to say, hey, I don't have it no more. I don't know where my soft spot is, but it ain't for no bullshit from anybody, right? And that's because of the people I went through with it. Taught me not to have that soft spot, not to give benefits for doubts for bullshit. Okay? All right, we get back to class. Hold on now. Often people who end up in relationships with avoidance have their own wounds around worthiness and love. Perhaps you believe you have to earn love through perfect behavior. Perhaps you believe you're too much and need to suppress yourself to become acceptable. Perhaps you believe real love requires sacrifice of your needs. The avoided person's dynamic confirms these wounds by suggesting that your authentic love is indeed too much and must be withheld to maintain connection. Healing means challenging these beliefs and recognizing that your love should be received with appreciation rather than punishment. Look, ring that bell. That way you notified anytime I come on. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for coming. All right. I got to just do that here and there. Okay. The healthier boundary with an avoidant person is recognizing that their pattern of punishing love and rewarding indifference is not your problem to solve or accommodate. It's their pattern to address through therapeutic work if they choose to do that work. Your responsibility is to remain authentic to your attachment needs and to find partnership with someone who can receive your love without experiencing it as a threat. This might mean leaving the avoided person and doing your own healing work to understand why you were drawn to someone who couldn't receive what you offered. It might mean staying, but with such clear boundaries about your needs that the relationship either transforms dramatically or ends naturally. What doesn't work is continuing to engage with the dynamic of withholding love to keep someone engaged. What's up, Lati? Hey, hey, hey. Um. Okay, wait a minute. Let me get back to the class. Hold on, y'all. It might mean staying. Okay, wait. Okay. This approach guarantees that even if the relationship continues, it will never provide the genuine intimacy and mutual vulnerability you need. You will be locked in a pattern of strategic distance and emotional management that prevents real connection. You'll be performing unavailability while wanting intimacy, which is the same split the avoided person lives in. You'll have become what you've been hurt by, and you'll have sacrificed your capacity for authentic and intimate relationships in the process. The intimate, I'm sorry, the ultimate understanding is that the avoided person's punishment of your love and reward of your indifference is not about you or your worth or your lovability. It is about their wounds and their defenses and their inability to tolerate vulnerability. Someone else's inability to receive your love does not mean your love is wrong or too much. It means that they are not capable of receiving love at all from anyone until they do the substantial work of healing their attachment wounds. Your love deserves to be received with joy and appreciation, not with punishment and withdrawal. The work of healing from a relationship with an avoided person includes rediscovering your right to offer love freely and to expect that love to be received well. Refusing to distort yourself to accommodate someone who cannot meet this basic requirement of genuine partnership. And that is class. Okay. That is class. Listen. See, I gotta watch these videos in entirety to make sure they get into a healthy point, because there's a lot of fools out here that are gonna tell you how to play that dance that they talked about with the avoidant, only to hurt yourself because this person is unwilling to do the work. They may be keyboard gangsters, but in essence, they are broken children that require healing. They're very fragile, right? Because you here it is. It's like you in a bull in a china shop. Here you are, the bull representing the love, and everything you touch in that bitch is fragile. But you big. You got horns. You got hooves. You don't got walk. You know what I'm saying? You big old bull of love, and you just wanna be loved, right? But they are the china shop. And everything, every turn, something could fall, something could drop, something could break, and then they withdraw and they act offended, or they, you know what I'm saying? They punish you with all the withdrawal. But then, as soon as you pick yourself up, as soon as you realize I am not built for this double-minded nonsense, I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to today or tomorrow. I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know what they thinking, right? Soon as you realize, oh shit, this ain't for me. Here they come, acting like they appreciate you, and oh, I never, asking you, like he said, asking questions that they never asked you before, showing interest they never shown before, just to show up to regain that control over you. Listen, if your person, excuse me, let me take another drink. If your person does not do the healing for their attachment style, does not radically shift their perspective about love and vulnerability, if they are unwilling to feel safe with love, that is not a partner in any sense of the word that you want. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't, and then you got to examine yourself, and you got to work, and you got to heal. This is like this whole script that I read, y'all, is definitely another version of the twin flame dynamic, right? But it don't have that spiritual connotation. It's the practical layman's term of toxic relationship with somebody who was a broken child, a bit more, probably more traumatized maybe than yourself, right? Because if you're showing up as a secure or maybe even anxious attached person that just wants to fix it, wants to work on something, this person is coming from the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and they can grow cold and detached because they feel like as long as you want them, they have some sense of control. And as much as they want to believe that they have some sense of control, the problem is they don't have control when you pull away, when you're done. When you know, when you, or like I said, if they do this dance, y'all constantly doing the dance is not healthy. And that's why I hear people say this all the time on all kinds of reels. Because you know, when you start liking stuff on your algorithm, the algorithm gives you way more, right? And I done see men, women, he, she, they, them, or everybody said, I walked away not because I wanted to punish them, or it's because I learned my lesson, right? I forgot it's another way to say it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you don't walk away from this person for them to chase you. You don't walk away from this person to reignite their relationship. You realize you just accept. The best way to walk away is to accept that they don't have the capacity to work within a healthy dynamic and have balance in a relationship. Oh shit, my screen. Some of these people are highly dangerous because the addiction they have to their abusive treatment and control over you doesn't leave when you do. They can become deadly. Girl, that's what I'm saying. You know, Jade, I told you, Professor Jade. You already taught this class. I'm teaching 1-on-1. You over in the 2s and the 3s. You know what I'm saying? You down in Bartlett Hall or whatever they call it. You the dean. Cause you right. And I ain't trying to be funny. I gotta laugh because sometimes you gotta laugh. You know, so shit don't make you cry. But I'm not in no tears. But my point is, yes, yes, yes. It is dangerous. I ran a scenario through, I was telling y'all a couple weeks ago, I ran a scenario through the AI bot. And the AI bot, when I described the situation, AI was like, "Are you okay? Do you want an exit strategy? Cause you know, can you trust this?" And I was like, "I mean, they ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm good." I was just like, "It's not that serious." But it was. It is because, like you said, Jade, this is the basis of like narcissistic behavior. And some people will come in when they cannot control, when their wounds are triggered, they become the exact thing that created them that way. Meaning, you know, they become the people, you know, that they learn that shit from. So whereas they might appear docile at some point in time, they can get predatory, and they can get dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you are 1,000% right. They may not even know that they have the capacity because again, they got wounds now. They have mental health challenges that they need to work through, and 9 times out of 10, they're not working on them. So until they snap, they can go so far with it. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot allow your self-worth to be diminished, your integrity, your ethics, your morality, your love to be compromised by somebody who wants to punish you with love and then chase you when you are unavailable, but they don't really want to give you anything. And right there, what you said, uh that right there was, oh, my screen, damn it, sorry y'all. They sometimes they are abusive and addicted to their abusive treatment. Sometimes they're addicted to the people that abuse them. So all is control. Everything in their life is vying for control. And it's centered around this ego, this pride, this ego, and this lack of vulnerability. And nobody wants to be real. Everybody's fake. That's why they wear the mask to begin with. But none of this, let me scroll down. They cannot um face themselves. That's one of the biggest things. This person what, this avoidant person is scared to death to look in the mirror and see this broken child, because that broken child feels unloved, unwanted, uncared for consistently, right? But that's everything that child needs is within them if they're willing to go through the healing process. Most of them aren't. They don't want, they'd rather project their shit, and that's why they project on you and punish you. That's why they project on to other people and punish them. You know what I'm saying? But then instead of like looking within and saying, maybe the problem is me. Maybe I am creating the problems of my life. Maybe the unhappiness I feel has a lot to do with the way I see my life now. Why maybe I need help. Maybe somebody can help me give a different perspective. But people don't want to heal because they don't want to face their pain. That too. Ooh, child. I came across a mutual that told me that the avoidant I know said, nothing ever happens to me. I'm good. I've never gone through anything. I don't have any trauma. I'm good. I was like, wow, really? They said, yeah. They said they never been through nothing. I said, oh shit. That's a mask. And this just hearing that was like scary. Cause I was like, I never imagined uh them not taking some accountability to say that, I've been through things too. You know what I'm saying? Nah, they took a complete other different approach. So everybody, and so what I realized is that everybody knows a different side of them, but nobody knows the real them because they don't even know the real them. Some people, what they call that, disassociate so that they can function in the world. So I ain't going through nothing. Hell, they might take on alter egos. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Usually it's family that look the other way. You're right, girl. I'm telling you. Dean Jade know what she talking about. Listen to it, y'all. It is a lot of people that would know, and you will know. Like if you end up in an intimate relationship of some sort with this person, you'll get to see it. And what I found for me personally, and it happened with different people until I got to this point where I actually like let me go down a rabbit hole to unpack it a little bit more. But when I observe certain behaviors, spirit will give me that, that spirit of discernment, like, uh-oh, that you've seen that before, and this is the likelihood of this is that. So it's crazy how I can look now, like on movies and television shows, and I can see how they building a character, and I can predict the next outcome of the character because, okay, so this character has attachment wounds. They got abandonment wounds. Oh, the mama was absent, or the daddy was this and that. Oh, they had trauma. Somebody was killed. They at an early age. Okay, this happened. This happened. That's why they the killer, or that's why they the such and such, or this person is the liar and the cheater. And da, 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 da. I could break it down, and I see that now in real life when I meet people. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I have to remain silent a lot of times because when depending on the setting, right, it's not appropriate for me to bring all of that out. But spirit will give me the spirit of discernment to let me know to be careful with that person. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you go through this, like you being on the opposite end of this avoided punishment of love, right? It is a requirement for you to evaluate your self-worth, your boundaries, your reason, how you accepted it, like they said, so that you can use your spirit of discernment, the intuition that God gave you to make a different choice, to not put yourself through this more than once. Yes, girl. I do it. And then I'll come back to my friend. I'll be like, Black Cherry, let me tell you what happened, girl. Da, 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 da. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, and I know I drive her crazy. She don't never call me crazy, but I sometimes certain situations that I know I'm so fucking right about, I can't let it go. And I know I sound like beating a dead horse. I could feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I know like any minute Spirit's about to prove me right. I can't stand that person. I can't stand that situation, or I don't like what's happening. And I know it. I know it. I know it. It's just unfair. And I just know karma's coming. And it's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather have that feeling, recognize and understand what I'm seeing. So when it plays out, I'm not, oh, shocked. I can't believe this happened. I knew it was going to happen. And then when people sit around and be like, I can't believe they did it. I mean, like, yes, you can. You knew that they did shit like that. Didn't they do that before? They're like, well, yeah, okay, so why you acting surprised? Right? And then I'm I be feeling crazy because it'd be like a bone I can't bury, because I'm like, it's more bones around here. I'm telling you, we about to dig them all up. I feel like an investigator. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, I trust my gut. And if my gut says, move on, or leave that motherfucker alone, or if you're going to operate in that space, operate this way, don't worry about that. I gotta move how Spirit tell me to move, because I'm observing the situation, and I also don't want to be vulnerable with somebody I know ain't shit. Yeah, girl, like that orange kangaroo. Yeah. You mean that orange orangutan? hmm So, but yeah, we have to. We definitely have to be self-evaluating. We have to calm our nervous system down, because people who weaponize love against us and punish us with love, and tell us that we're too much, doing too much, or create this distance or this push and pull energy with the attempt to gain control over us. Like, once we become calm, more secure within ourselves, that's not gonna happen anymore. Like, you calm that anxiousness down, or you calm the insecurity down, or the confusion. Because a lot of times I feel like, even if you're a secure attachment type style person, when this type of shit comes along, that person will confuse you, because it's like, well, I'm just trying to offer you love. What's the problem? And again, like they say, conventional advice backfires. It don't work with this type of energy. So you try, because the natural instinct is to try a little harder, because why wouldn't you? Like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, you look left, you look right, up and down. I don't understand what happened. Where's this enemy at? Because I'm just loving you. Where's the enemy at? And come to find out, the enemy is within. How they say, they trace the signal and it's coming from the inside. That's where it's coming from, within them, because of the bugs that these other players in their life have created within them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you're sitting there going, you're being normal, and they're being weird, and they don't know that they being weird. A lot of times, I'll be honest, like, it's not an excuse, but they don't even realize that they're being weird. But they're being weird. And it's not natural to not be able to reciprocate love, because love is a natural thing to have, right? But when you've been abused and confused and played about, and in toxicity most of your life, or the early part of your life where that development was crucial, your empathy is cut off. You know what I'm saying? You're in, and there's certain, like they said, embedded fears. Even if they don't remember the things that created the core wounds, it still is within them, and it's in their nervous system, and it is activated when somebody tries to care. And so the thing is, regardless of the reason, once you identify this is what you're dealing with, it is up to you to boundary up, to accept this is who this person is calmly. Also, like they said, state what you want. Don't be afraid. If they walk away, then that's their loss. But state what you require for that relationship to be healthy and sustainable. And if they're avoidant, then they can't maintain that, and then you have your answer. And it's not a confusion like, oh, will they come back? It might be at first, like, your first go around with this type of shit. Maybe first, second, or third go around. It all depends on your own development. But you start to learn. You start to learn. You start to pick up real fast after a while. Like, wait a minute, we getting ready to go down this road again. You know what I'm saying? This person, they don't listen to the right people. They have maniac tendencies too. They get stressed out. That nervous system, it makes them sneaky. That's why they like to withdraw. Listen. Yep. They end up burning bridges with you and others, right? This is why. Sorry, y'all. This is why they also idealize the ex. The ex was that person that they can't be with, so they idealize them and then downgrade the person that they with. That's crazy to me. Triangulating people and downgrading people based on people that you can't even be with because they from your past. It's over with them. So there's no threat there of love, responsibility, or accountability of any way. Dark triad narcissist. I shall look it up. Yeah, they try to make you love offers. You know what I'm saying? This is how they want to package it. Charming, confident, oh, they're generous. You know what I'm saying? Right? But this was really what be in the cup. Hollow. Did he use that term at least twice? Like it's a hollow offer. It's fraudulent. Insincere. It's fucking worthless. Here it is. You think that they want to offer. Now they come with the offer that you always wanted between the two of y'all. Okay? And then they come with this, oh yeah, it's real. Now I'm going to be consistent. And they go, want, back to the same bullshit. Oh my gosh. So dark triad narcissist. Definitely got to look that up. This person, a lot of times they'll take you on a long journey if you stick around. If you stick around, you'll be on a long journey with this person. They have holes in their heart. And they like to gaslight people. Because they're gaslighting themselves. Yeah, they're a heart collector. They think everybody belongs to them. They done stabbed a lot of people in their back. They done burned a lot of bridges. And they been stabbed in the back themselves. This is somebody who takes the knives out their back, excuse me, and uses it against other people. They'll test your loyalty. But see, Spirit said this is the energy you need to be in when it comes to them. Maybe in another lifetime, if they choose better, maybe. But it ain't going to be in this timeline. It ain't going to be on this frequency. You don't have that kind of energy for that. That small shit that they want to be around, they want to do, it don't matter. You can calmly back the fuck off, stand off, whatever. It ain't going to be nothing for y'all because this type of person is lost on their journey. They claim they want love, but they don't even know the first thing about what love really is. Spirit said they get their karma for this too because this person is stubborn and don't want to learn lessons. They need a spiritual awakening. They need to really get some help, but you gotta want help to get help. This person will basically be victim. Where they could take action, they feel like they left hanging because they want you to pursue. It's not how this works. But this is what it is. They have a soul, like they have a black heart where their soul should be. And I'll say black heart like a black hole. That's what I mean. It is painful. And this is why you can't love them enough to fill that gaping hole. They gotta want to start repairing, literally repairing themselves. They walk away cold and detached because it's easier for them. You gotta cut the cord with people like this. So, like I said, accept that this ain't what it was, what you wanted it to be. Accept it. You got to have a level of acceptance when it comes to this person. Because otherwise, you will lose your blessings messing with somebody who keeps you in a very imbalanced state. Like I said, you become cold, detached. One of the things I believe, it's a lot coming out about these nurses being having lack of empathy. Some of them call it burnout or whatever. But I do feel like I watch people in their professions like social workers, caseworkers, and stuff like that. And I do believe that if you in that profession so long and you're constantly dealing with hurt and pain all the time, you do burn some of that empathy out, because if you don't, the opposite is that you will drain yourself and you will burn out on a physical level. Like, I had a friend who was a social worker, and some of her coworkers died of cancer and other illnesses because it's too much. The way society is overwhelming. You have to find balance, because people want you to plug their holes up, their financial, mental, emotional, spiritual hole. They want you to plug it all up for them. And you can't. People have to learn how to fish. They can't be given a fish all the darn time. So this person would be on some, I'm sorry, please forgive me when you go distant. But again, no radical change. It'll be not my monkey, not my circus. But you know the clouds. And this person, you pay them any ounce of attention, and they feel like, oh, okay, well, they ain't going nowhere, so it's whatever. I could treat them like shit again. I could be, whatever. It's not that serious. And they feel like they got an unfinished love story with you, because how dare you walk away unless they say it's over? Well, the devil is a lie. A lot of y'all gonna block them, ban them, because you're gonna call them the hoax and the scam that they are. You're not going to entertain this type of energy. Yeah, you're right about that. They do. And teaching too, which is terrifying. How many people like this going to teaching young people, and then you see they project their cruelty onto these children. Girl, child, it is horrible. But yeah, this person likes to play games. You know what I'm saying? They like the cat and mouse chase. I've gone into school volunteering. I volunteered for some schools. And when I was in school, I needed hours. So I had to go to school. When I came out of that school, I was there for 5 hours. I had a headache. Just watching these women deal with them. I was an education student, so I wasn't able to interact and interrupt. But I asked some questions by, end of each class period, and I was just like floored. I was like, so they don't teach you their style of, like they didn't teach you how to teach. They're like, no, this is what I came up with. I was like appalled. I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know it was, whew. I felt so bad for them kids, certain kids in there. I felt so bad for those kids, because these women were in there doing the most, because they felt like they could walk around on these kids like a freaking Gestapo or something. It was horrible. So Spirit said, without transformation, a metamorphosis, evolution, like without you seeing their journey in some way, without you understanding, or not you understanding, without them having an awakening that's significant enough that their whole perspective, behavior, everything shifts, you won't be able to trust this person. A simple apology and, oh, I went through this and I went through that is not it. You will know if somebody has done any radical changes, because they can't have this without that. They can't have you without that. And a lot of them can't come back because they done did too much any damn way. Look at all them roadblocks. Some of them, no matter how much they recognize, oh, this was my person, they can't come back. You all heard what I wrote. You know what I'm saying? What I read, rather. That is so toxic that a lot of times when you move on from it, you don't ever want it again. You don't want no part of it no more. The healing is just too far. I won't say too far gone, but yeah, it just feels like you can't ever see them the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Um, and it's not everybody. Like I said, for some people though, most people. I say most people, especially if this person is definitely a narcissist. And you can't diagnose that, but you can tell by the way they treat you. Excuse me, my voice felt crazy tonight. I gotta go. I think I need to drink some tea tonight because my sinuses is doing too much and my throat feel crazy. Like feel like I'm sound like I'm crying and I can't shake that. Excuse me, let me chew on some ice. But I want to thank y'all for coming to the Spiritual Lounge tonight. Mm. I know that's right. Listen, we can't give in to toxic people. They really want to steal, kill, and destroy. You know, I feel like there are many people in this world that generally will help themselves. Many. But most of us don't come across them. You know what I'm saying? Most of us see the worst in them long before somebody else sees something good in them. I'll be honest with you. And it's sad because you might see someone move on and get better and do better, and that's good. Good for them. But when you have a certain level of acceptance, it don't matter who they go give what to. When you're done, you're done. Hey, little girl. You trying to get down to your homeboy? Or are you hungry? You too? So, y'all take it how it resonates. If it don't resonate, you know what I'm saying? Don't take it. It's not your story. Maybe not your experience. But some of us have gone through this. Some of us still go through this. And it is up to us to heal us. And it is up to them to heal them. And whatever comes shall may. One of the guys I let y'all hear before, I forgot his name. Tynell. He was like, we gotta stop that narrative of, if it's meant to be, they're gonna come back. He said, because that does leave some room to feel like I should wait for them to come back. And I don't disagree with him at all, because it is true. You can leave some false sense of hope. You gotta know who you are. And in the meantime, in between time, if this person should, what they call circle the block, go do you anyway. By the time they come circling the block, you might not be interested. So don't feel like no sense of I need to settle or I need to wait. No, you don't. You need to go live your life. You need to go find your tribe, your like-minded individuals, people that love and willing to love you back. You know what I'm saying? So, I love you guys. I'm going to bid you adieu. And I'm going to my chambers. Peace